Welcome to the Springtime Rising Full Moon Circle broadcast. Tonight, we celebrate the first lunar eclipse of 2024 with a penumbral eclipse. This eclipse is when the moon passes its light through the light outer part of the Earth's shadow, causing a very hard to see eclipse. This is because normally the moon passes through the Earth's dark inner shadow, called the umbra, which produces the easily experienced partial and total lunar eclipse. This penumbral eclipse heightens the feelings of confusion that normally follow a lunar cycle's accumulation in a full moon, making this full moon less about manifestation and more about accumulation. Some astrologers see the October 14th, 2023 solar eclipse as the beginning of a cycle event that will accumulate into last night's penumbral eclipse. This is a great time to look at the totality of the cycles of life to understand which are ending and which are beginning. The March full moon has been known by a variety of other names, depending on cultures, era, and location. Worm moon, crow moon, crest moon, chafe moon, sugar moon, and step moon. The word moon name reflects the appearance of the earthworms as the ground warms and fits well with our own name for this lunation. Worms are the garbage disposals of the earth, eating the unclean and undigestible in the soil and turning it into warm, fresh dirt filled with nutrients that plants need to thrive. Note the word thrive, not live, not get by, but thrive. Come alive with life and go beyond merely blooming and into a bouquet of abundance. That's where we're at, the moments just before receiving the bouquet of abundance. On tonight's springtime rising full moon, you should contemplate what is an abundance in your life. Is it things that you want to wrap in tissue paper and ribbons and give to the world? Or are there things that you need to eat, digest, recycle? For this is the mystery of spring. A new life flourishes. There is a quiet sense of ending, things decomposing and being recycled in the earth so that abundance can thrive above. I would like to introduce the founder of our Circle Sanctuary and our High Priestess, Selena Fox.
Thank you, Dia. And happy spring to everybody celebrating. And for those of you in the Southern Hemisphere, happy autumn. Full moon circle on full moon night, full moon magic, and full moon right. Welcome to everybody joining us live and later. We celebrate the moon and we also celebrate the season of springtime tonight. We invite you to experience yourself as part of our circle online here. Not only those of us who are presenting, but part of that greater circle in cyberspace who are celebrating with us tonight and having their own celebrations. I now invite Nathan to share some announcements with us.
Greetings and blessings of springtime rising full moon to all. Every second Saturday of the month, we have our community volunteer days. Please join us on Circle Sanctuary land on Sunday, April 14th, to help prepare for our Earth Day celebration on Saturday, April 20th. You can register for both of these events on our website at circlesanctuary.org. Sunday, April 21st starts National Volunteer Week. We would like to take this moment to share our gratitude to all of the volunteers on this evening's broadcast and to all the other volunteers who keep the Circle land and Green Cemetery in good shape, those that run our various programs, contribute to publicity, produce weekly Circle Sanctuary Network podcasts, those who volunteer for office work and to work in the resource shop. These are just some of the many volunteer-supported activities that keep our church community going. Thank you all so very much. We couldn't do this without you. Our next full moon broadcast will be Pentacle Power on Tuesday night, April 23rd, when we will celebrate this symbol of our faith path and the journey of acceptance by the Veterans Administration, allowing veterans to use the Pentacle on grave markers in 2007. Circle Sanctuary's Beltane Festival is the weekend of May 3rd through the 5th, and Circle invites you to join us to dance the maypole and celebrate all of the complex ways we are intertwined together. Registration and further information can be found on circlesanctuary.org. We would also like to invite you to join us for the 2024 Pagan Spirit Gathering, June 16th through the 20th in Missouri, United States of America. This national pagan gathering brings together pagans of many paths and to celebrate the summer solstice and our pagan community. We create and live in a magical pagan village, celebrating with rituals, bonfires, concerts, and workshops. For more information, please check out our website. Registration is now open, and PSG program registration deadline is March 31st. Circle Sanctuary provides a range of services for the pagans worldwide. We have more than 1,000 workshops, interviews, discussions, and rituals available for free via our podcast network, CSNP. We also have a variety of workshops and rites available through our Circle Sanctuary YouTube channel. Be sure to subscribe to stay updated. We also network and share information via our other social media pages. Please check those out. Learn more about our resources and services at the Circle Sanctuary website. And please consider supporting our work by joining us as a member. You can learn more and join at circlesanctuary.org/membership. May the coming spring and summer months be filled with warmth, wonder, light, and love. I'll send this over now to Reverend Laura, who will cast our circle.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to our full moon circle ceremony. It's my pleasure to join you back. And the first thing that I want to do using the magic of the internet is to breathe together. And by the power of our connectedness, and by the magic of the internet, to be together, breathing right here, right now, in unison with all the green kinship on the planet, the trees, the algae, the herbs. And as we feel this connection with one another, we cast our circle. If you're able to turn towards the north at your place, do so. If not, just close your eyes and listen to my words. I call upon the guardians of the north, the element of earth, to join us in our circle tonight, to bring with you stability and growth, foundation and abundance. Hail and welcome, earth. So let it be. And now to the east. I call upon the guardians of the east, the element of air, to come and join us in our circle tonight, to bring with you communication, eloquence, inspiration, music, and harmony. Hail and welcome, air. So let it be. And now to the south. I call upon the guardians of the south, the element of fire, to join us in our circle tonight, to bring with you your qualities of change and transformation, passion and inspiration, to ignite the flame of our hearts. Hail and welcome, fire. So let it be. And now to the west, we call to water, the element with the qualities of joy, laughter, feelings, and emotions. Join us in our circle tonight. Hail and welcome, water. So let it be. To the cosmos above, we call to the sun, to the moon, to the stars, to the universe, to the galaxies known and unknown, to join us on this circle tonight. Hail and welcome, cosmos, and to the earth below us. I call upon you, earth, you who are the mother, the father, the sustainability, and she for who we exist. Hail and welcome Earth, and to our hearts, spirit, love, all united. We are here, our circle is cast, so mote it be. And now I welcome Richard to help us kindle our fire.
Thank you, Laura, for casting our computer-connected cyberspace sacred circle. My name is Richard, and I am logged into this Full Moon Circle podcast from my humble, healthy, happy hoarder house in Madison, Wisconsin. This moon cycle, we turn our attention to the coming spring in the Northern Hemisphere, a time of new growth and warmer days and longer days. Also, there's a Hindu fire festival of colors, the first full moon of the spring. That's where they throw all those colored dyes around. I like this ecologically friendly recycled beeswax candle to represent the bonfires that we pagans light on the hilltops to celebrate the rising of the full moon, the return of the sun, the anticipation of bright summer days and warm summer nights. I celebrate fire in all of its forms, from a small candle to a large bonfire. So mote it be. Up next is Dia to have us all kindle our individual candles.
Oh, Dia, we cannot hear you, honey. I'm so sorry.
Can you hear me now? Yay! Sorry, my first earbuds just totally splat out on me. So let's try again. Please light your candles. I would like to thank all our volunteers and especially tonight's Full Moon Circle cast. Pagan Spirit Gathering registration is open and the deadline for programming submissions is March 31st. You know you have a good idea. You should submit it. Additionally, both of tonight's musical guests will be appearing at Pagan Spirit Gathering, Marion King and Black Willow Starling. As you enjoy their offerings tonight, begin to make plans to see them live at Pagan Spirit Gathering 2024. Now we will enjoy our first springtime chant from Reverend Selena.
Thank you, Dia. Well, welcome spring. Spend a few moments and call to mind your experience of springtime thus far, in whatever way it has appeared in your own area. Connecting with soil, with winds, with lengthening days and more daylight in a day, with moisture so needed to bring about growth and the spirit of springtime, and connect with the sacred by whatever name or names you are aligned with. As I play this singing bowl, connect with the divine in springtime. Divine as one, divine as many, divine as moon, divine as sun, divine that's within us, divine that's around us. Continue to be with us on this full moon night at this springtime. And let us celebrate and honor the elements in springtime form. We honor the fertile earth. We honor the warming breezes. We honor the waxing light. We honor the nurturing rains. Welcome spring, new life to bring to land, to us, to all. Welcome spring, rebirth we sing within and round us all. Let the powers of springtime flow into you wherever you may be. Blessings of the earth and the fertile earth, potentials and wellness flowing into your body. Blessings of the warming breezes on your mind and your thoughts, bringing blessings of good mental health. Blessings of the waxing light, the sunshine during the day and that sunlight reflected on the moon at night. Let that energize us to have good balance in work and play and rest and activity, bringing about balance in well-being in how we live. And with the nurturing rains and other forms of precipitation that bring forth life, may we have blessings on our emotions, our feelings, our relationships, and the spirit that connects all together, the fifth element. May it bless us with spiritual well-being and connectedness, not only with other humans, but the greater circle of nature of which we are a part. So be it. And now I invite Judith, Reverend Judith, to share about renewal and rebirth.
Thank you, Selena. Good evening. I'm Reverend Judith, joining you from Chicago. Tonight we celebrate Ostara, a time of renewal and rebirth as the wheel of the year has just passed the spring equinox. This is a time when we celebrate the goddess of spring, Ostara. Ostara is the goddess of new life and the dawn. Her symbols are the hare and the egg. And as a fertility goddess, she is the first warm spring winds, the birds that return each year, and the first buds on the trees and flowers rising from the ground. She is the energy that awakens the soil and prompts the animals to bring forth new life into the world and brings light into the dark spaces. She is a fertile young maiden who dances like no one is watching, sings while skipping through the forest, and gives fresh cut flowers to all who cross her path. She is magic. She is wonderment. She is life. At this time, when the hours of daylight and night are in balance, the goddess awakens from her deep winter slumbers and returns from the underworld, now wearing the aspect of the maiden of spring. And she meets the young god, now the youth of spring, who was born into the world at Yule. Together, the coupling of masculine and feminine energies will plant the seeds of life and growth upon which all the continued survival of the world depends. We welcome the balance of light with the dark as a promise of the longer days required for greater growth and productivity, which are now on the way. And the renewal of each new spring has been celebrated throughout the ages and has not been lost despite all the changes this world has seen. And each year at this time, we look forward to those things we would like to renew in our lives and to nurture the things that we would like to see grow in the world around us. And my prayer is for peace and prosperity for all, because there is more than enough of everything to sustain one and all on this beautiful planet, our home, Mother Earth. So mote it be. It is now my pleasure to introduce Black Willow Starling, a duo of musicians relatively new to each other, but not to the music scene. They will have their Pagan Spirit Gathering debut in June at our summer solstice gathering at Pagan Spirit Gathering. I look forward to seeing you there, Nora and Michael. Now take it away.
Well, thanks for having us. We're excited to be here and we're honored to be part of the program. Can you hear us okay? Okay. Would you like to say anything about our song here, Nora?
This song is called Between Times. Up from the mud and the darkness, beneath the earth's quiet womb, seeing silence clouded in dreamtime, woke by the light of the moon. Then starts the tapping of raindrops, thunderclaps crackle around, swaying of branches, lightning flashes, water sinks deep to the ground. Light meets dark, while dark meets light. Day consumes the dying night. In time, the trees will be budding with colors of velvety hues. Gold wind turns warmer, ephemeral charmer, a carpet of flowers in bloom. And those who can feel the beating pulse of the earth in our hearts, the pushing and pulling, turning its seasons to welcome the waters of March. Light meets dark, while dark meets light. Day consumes the dying night. Meets dark, while dark meets light. Day consumes the dying night. Between
Thank you, Black Willow Starling. That was really beautiful. I've come to talk to you about worms, and it's my partner's fault. In honor of the full worm moon, why not consider putting worms into the soil of your garden? That's what she told me. So using a simple container, you can buy red wiggler worms, which are the type of worms you want to put into the soil. You place them in your garden, gently disturb the soil around the plants in your garden with a stiff rake, lightly moist the soil, and sprinkle the red wigglers on top. Then cover with a light layer of mulch to keep them from predators and the sun. The best time to do it is late afternoon. Giving them time to wiggle deep into your soil and begin the turning it into a more nutrient-rich environment for your plants. If you're tilling a garden, once you've tilled and furrowed your rows before planting begins, lightly mix the soil, spread the wigglers, and place mulch on top. When planting, be sure to get beyond the layer of mulch. Be sure to mulch again in the heat of summer to lock in the moisture and continue to protect your worms. Did you know that red wigglers provide more nutrients to the soil than any over-the-counter offering of nutrients? You can also start a red wiggler worm farm. What you can do is you take a planter and you buy for your garden, take some of those and put them in the planter, lightly mist that soil, add some mulch. And you also want to add shredded corrugated boxes, torn up newspaper, and kitchen scraps, not meat or dairy products, to feed your worms. Keep the box moist in a cooler environment. You know, your garage is a great place for that. And then in the fall, take half the worms you've grown and place in your flower and garden beds again, moistening the soil, mulching, so that over the winter, the nutrients in your flower bed and garden will increase. And if you need more encouragement than how good it is for our mother to do this type of worm farming, consider that the red wiggler worms create more beneficial microorganisms, enzymes, aeration, and plant stimulations than regular compost all alone. If you want to compost faster, get those red wigglers working for you in your compost pile. We'll now allow Reverend Judith to sing to us an Ostara song.
Thank you, Dia. I just learned so much about red wigglers. I love it. This is a song about Ostara by Lisa Thiel. Praise to the spring, praise to all living things, praise to the maiden and the joy that she brings. Praise to the earth, let all her creatures now sing. Hope is renewed with the coming of the spring. We turn from the darkness and the wise crone within. We turn to the maiden and creation begins. It's time now for things growing, and now time for flowing, a time for sowing the seeds of your dreams. Praise to the spring, praise to all living things, praise to the maiden and the joy that she brings. Praise to the earth, let all her creatures now sing. Hope is renewed with the coming of the spring. The heart fires are stirring with the new life returning. It's time now for learning what rebirth truly means. And we honor ourselves and all the fairies and elves. May we dance and ring bells for the coming of the spring. So praise to the spring, praise to all living things. Praise to the maiden and the joy that she brings. Praise to the earth, let all her creatures now sing. Hope is renewed with the coming of the spring. So open your heart to nature's wondrous art. It's time now to start the healing of the green. Praise to the spring, praise to all living things. Praise to the maiden and the joy that she brings. Praise to the earth, let all her creatures now sing. Hope is renewed with the coming of the spring. Shar will now tell us about Uncle Wiggle Long Ears and Mushroom Fairies.
Thank you, Reverend Judith. Hi, everybody. Reverend Shar Bear here. I'm thinking about all the gardening things, and I love what Dia was sharing about the worms. I was just 2 days ago out in the pouring rain, which became hail for 3 hours. Didn't even notice it. Weeding. Pulling up, we have a pollinator-friendly garden. We replaced all our grass with endemic, native plants, and so it's like bioengineering, having to be real careful about what you're pulling and what you're saving, and what the symbiotic relationship of all the plants are. And Deal, you'll know that onto the sidewalk were all these wonderful red wigglers that came out of the rain, and I'm one of those people who scoops them up and throws them right back in the earth again and says, "Thank you for your service." So anyway, I'm in this circle with you all tonight with incredibly tired legs because I didn't realize how long I was out there. I'm going to share with you a little bit about what became part of our family's lore at spring and always around this Ostara season, spring equinox, Easter time, which has kind of become secular. And it was kind of for us a conflation of two different other lores. One is Uncle Wiggily. Maybe some of you know Uncle Wiggily. It's been referenced in some popular movies. But Uncle Wiggily Long Ears was a character. Basically, he's a main character in a series of children's stories that were first written in 1910 by an American author named Howard Garris. This guy wrote for 30 years. He wrote an Uncle Wiggily story every single day, except Sundays, which were his creativity Sabbath. So there's like so many Uncle Wiggily stories. But Uncle Wiggily is a character who resembles a wild hare. And we have them here because I am hailing you all from the Monterey Bay region on the central coast of California, which is also the traditional lands of the Rumsen and Esselen Ohlone peoples. And it's home to many marine mammal species that are beloved throughout the world. and wild hares, which are not marine mammals, but they're one of the species who live here. And Uncle Wiggily is like a wild hare. He wears a top hat, a long coat, and he has arthritis. He has very, very bad chronic arthritis, which Garris called rheumatism, and he has to walk with a crutch, and the crutch has colors on it, red, blue, white, like a barber pole. And so that's one of his signatures is his crutch. And Uncle Wiggily has a whole bunch of forest friends. He's got friends like the possum people and the woodchuck people and the squirrel people and the raccoon people and the skunk people, and they're all buddies and they're all cute, and the owlet people. And he's always doing little mischievous things with his woodland friends. And he's usually intervening, stopping some bullies who are less charming creatures in the neighborhood. So he is doing good deeds, and he carries with him sometimes little baskets of Easter eggs. Hello, Ostara. And and he's coming around, and he's putting up Easter eggs to protect his friends against the bullies. Nice little warding implements there without calling him that, right? Anyway, I think he's a practitioner of the wish in disguise. To make it popular and easy for American children to understand him. So he was a character for me growing up, and my mother was really big on magical lore. And every time this year we would go out and we would leave a basket of fresh greens and brightly colored Easter eggs and new tubers like fresh baby carrots for Uncle Wiggily. We wanted him to know that we're allies and friends. Well, the other part of this lore was that we believed a lot in mushroom fairies. And if you know mushroom fairy rings, the whole lore around mushroom fairy rings is all throughout Europe and Celtic cultures, of course. And in Australia, mushroom rings are thought to be developed by dragons. So a former full moon circle about dragons, but they're a real thing, because the science of it is that as the mycelium web grows, as they eat the nutrients, it leaves a ring of mushrooms. And the lore is thinking of these mushroom formed rings as elf rings, fairy rings, witch rings, as portals to the fairy realm or the mystical realm. And some thought it was dangerous to enter them, because if you went into that realm, you might not come back from that realm. But they were friends to us. And so my mother and I, while putting out egg baskets to Uncle Wiggily, we said, we've got to go do this for Uncle Wiggily and the mushroom fairies. That just became our lore, Uncle Wiggily and the mushroom fairies. And so it was understood by me, little young child, that Uncle Wiggily came up through the mushroom ring, and that we also had to give all kinds of good things like nuts and fruits and flowers of the season that all the wild critters of the world, and maybe even some of the fairies under the mushrooms, would like. And I now have, this is a spoiler alert, if you've not seen Dune 2, don't listen. If you have, you know what I mean. Dia, I'm seeing red wiggle worms diving through the mushroom ring, and I'm seeing myself ride them like, little fairies, like, Lisa, you could go there, right? So anyway, it's a lot of fun. If you've seen Dune 2, you know what I'm talking about. So why does this matter? It was a wonderful way, and I thank my mother for this. She's passed on. I still do that. Anytime every time this year, I will take offerings of Easter eggs, of fresh green, new greens, of new baby tubers, of nuts and seeds and fruits, berries, and I'll take them out. And I let all the beings know, all my wildlife neighbors know that I'm an ally, I'm a friend, I see you, I love you, please welcome me. And the magical thing that's happened is that mushroom fairy rings have appeared to me and to my mother on several key instances in our life. Whenever we have gone through a loss, like when she lost her job, or after she was divorced, or when we lost a favorite pet, or when we lost our home, all of a sudden, overnight, up sprang a mushroom fairy ring, either at the base of our oak tree or right across our path, like you can't miss it. And every time we've looked at each other or called each other and went, did you see that? And we've always felt that the land spirits, the mystical spirits, the allied spirits with us are letting us know, we see you. We're here. You're not alone, little one. You're home with us. My husband and I this month did a Blue Marble podcast talking about profound experiences of really completely belonging in nature. And it goes back to some of this early formative tradition in my family, morphing lore around Uncle Wiggily and the Mushroom Fairies. Selena, if you would kindly elaborate on the powers of springtime.
Thank you, Reverend Shar. What a wonderful sharing. Springtime can take many different forms in ways that vary according to where you are on the planet. We call our festival in March the Welcome Spring Festival, since we don't truly know whether we're going to have precipitation in the form of snow or rain. We had both. And I do think one of the powers of springtime that have been part of my life since the earliest times I remember is being able to be outdoors and to experience the land coming alive. And I think it's important to recognize that there are many ways to welcome in the spring, and there's a variety of different holidays that happen at this time of year in different parts of the world. So, by whatever name or names you know springtime, I invite you to affirm with me as I do a call and response chant. So I'm going to say a line, then I'm going to say it again, and wherever you are, I invite you to think it or to speak it. Powers of springtime, inspire us. Powers of springtime, inspire us. Powers of springtime, refresh us. Powers of springtime, refresh us. Powers of springtime, transform us. Powers of springtime, transform us. Powers of springtime, renew us. Powers of springtime, renew us. So be it. Well, springtime across cultures around the world through the ages has been called a number of different names. The name that many pagans today and others involved in earth-centered and nature spirituality traditions use, spring equinox, welcome spring, Ostara. Now, who is Ostara? There's Ostara from the ancient past, cloaked in mystery, and then there has been what I would call the resurgence, the rebirth of Ostara since the 1800s. Many of you may know about Grimm's fairy tales. Well, Jacob Grimm actually wrote in the early 1800s about his viewpoint that Ostara, and there was a historical reference that has survived from what some people would call the Dark Age or the Viking Age. In 725 of the Common Era, the Venerable Bede, an English churchman or monk, actually wrote about some of the local customs in what we now call England. And how do we know about Ostara? He wrote about a whole month, Ostra month, which many have said was actually April, but you'll have to do a deep dive into the scholarly debate about lunar calendars and solar calendars to determine whether back then Ostra month was indeed April, or it might have been March, depending on how the calendar was operating at that time. And those of you who are students of history know that the calendar that we have today, the Gregorian calendar, went through some changes and had been the Julian calendar. In some parts of the world, there's lunar calendars or lunisolar calendars, such as what many pagans today work with. So yes, we know there is a reference, but there is no mention of Easter bunnies or Ostara hares back then. However, Jacob Grimm contributed to what I'd call the rebirth of Ostara, and by the time the Victorian age in the UK was culminating, it became quite a thing in popular culture before social media, before the internet. There were all sorts of posters and cards and art depicting Ostara rising, the symbol of springtime emerging. And yes, Ostara was accompanied by a rabbit and some eggs. Well, since I was very young, spring has been such a magical time, and I was raised fundamentalist Southern Baptist, and part of our tradition was to have Easter baskets with eggs and little bunnies. I have an example of what some people would call an Ostara basket or an Easter basket or a spring basket. And some of the eggs we might have colored ourselves, or some might have been colored by others. And of course, candy and treats. I often wondered way back then in my childhood what the Easter bunny and eggs had to do with Jesus being crucified, and a Jew who was a healer and a spiritual leader amongst people, was executed and then rose from the dead. But I read the Bible as a Southern Baptist youth and as a young adult, and still read it from time to time today as part of my interreligious work. And I saw no reference to the Easter bunny or eggs in the Bible. So that always puzzled me. And then as I embraced paganism during my teenage years, and since then, I became aware that the name Easter itself comes from Ostara's name. Ostra, E-O-S-T-R-E, is one of the ways that her name was spelled, and she is considered a form of the divine, a goddess of spring to some, the goddess of dawn to others, the goddess of the east. Some say east is connected with her name, but she has now evolved to be a goddess of springtime. Many people think the name Ostara as a name for the spring equinox has its roots in the ancient past. No, unless you consider the 1970s, the ancient past. Essentially, when I first started doing craft work, late 60s, early 70s, many of the traditions I had encountered called it Lady Day. That's another name for spring equinox in some old craft traditions. But Lady Day also has a Christian use, for March 25th, that's tonight, is 9 months from December 25th. This was the Feast of the Annunciation, when the Virgin Mary got word that she was carrying Jesus. So I find this whole interconnection, interreligious, multicultural, through the age mashup between ancient pagan stuff and Christian stuff is really fascinating. And I really think as we move into what some people in some of the Western Christian church traditions call Holy Week, well, it's holy for us as well this time of year. I have here an image of the Ostara hare or Ostra hare. And this is actually based on an image from the 1700s from Pennsylvania Dutch land up in Pennsylvania in the USA. And I have Pennsylvania Dutch heritage as part of my patchwork quilt of heritage. And I celebrate Easter as Ostara, spring equinox time, as Easter, secular, fun, welcome in the spring with Easter bunnies and eggs, and Easter as a sacred time for those Christians and people of other traditions that embrace Easter in that way. So wherever you may be, whatever your ancestral traditions, whatever your affiliations now, I wish you a blessed spring. And rather than having a debate about, well, who owns the word Easter and Ostara, let us celebrate the resilience, the rebirth, the renewal, the resurrection that connects pagan traditions, Christian traditions, and other spiritual traditions across time and around the world, bringing about hope and transformation. Welcome spring. And now to welcome in the spring, I invite Maren to share some words and song.
Thank you so much, Selena. Well, I'm Maren King coming to you from my music closet here in North Central Florida, USA. And springtime has certainly springed here as the wheel turns and the celebration of the renewal of life after a long, often hard winter is upon us. Did you know that bumblebees hibernate during the winter? And it is the bumblebee queen that comes out in the springtime and ventures forth, visiting those early spring flowers and taking the pollen back to her hive, her children, in special baskets on her legs to feed them and make them strong so that they can venture out and gather pollen and nectar for the hive. Bees, butterflies, and other pollinators help the flora, that's the flowers and trees and other plants, to be able to reproduce by taking pollen from plant to plant. And they are a vital part of our beautiful ecosystem here on Earth. Here's a little springtime song that I wrote for last year's Springtime Full Moon Circle, and it's called Welcome in the Spring. Come clap along with me. At last the long winter is ending, sun shines longer with each new day. The snowdrops are yawning and stretching, reaching up to the warming rays. Sweet flora awakens the daffodils, primroses and violets too. The blossoms rise up as she calls to them, sparkling in the morning dew. La la ba da da ba da 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 da, la da da ba da 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 da. At last the spring is beckoning with this promise of longer days. The birch tree and willow are leafing, with the maple not far away. Buds cover the cherry and lilac trees, the dogwoods and redbuds too. Soon flowers will crown and adorn their limbs, nectar feeding multitudes. Ba-da, ba-da-da, ba-da-da-da-da, la-da-da, ba-da-da-da-da. At long last the winter is ending, queen bumblebees take flight, buzzing busily on their fuzzy way through the crocus and meadow bright. With baskets of gold for her children, she rebuilds the winter worn high, and sends them to visit the myriad of bright blossoms as they rise. The song of the bees fills the warming air as they welcome in the spring. Ba-da, ba-da-da, ba-da-da-da-da, la-da-da, ba-da-da-da-da. Ha ha! Blankets of flowers will soon be everywhere with the buzzing of bees in the air. And I'm going to turn this back over to Selena now for healing blessings.
Thank you, Maren. And every month we have a time where we present can send healing and well wishes to those in need. And helping me this month is Chris, who not only helps us with our tech, but is one of the bards in our community. So in the next few moments, as we prepare to do healing, I invite you to align with the divine according to your own path and tradition. Align with spring and its rejuvenation and healing powers. And call to mind those you know who are in need of healing. If you wish, those of you in the YouTube, you can put their first name or their initials in the chat so others can also send healing and well wishes to them, or you may want to just whisper or speak the name or names of those that you would like some of the healing powers of this full moon circle to go to. So let the magic of the flute guide you in sending healing. So be it, and many thanks. Let us call to mind an image of planet Earth, imagining ourselves, each in our own way, connecting with an image of the planet, as if we are seeing it from outer space. And as we hold an image of our Earth in our mind's eye, let us spend a few moments focusing our attention for renewal, for healing, for resilience on planet Earth, our home, for the biosphere. And as you call the image of the planet in mind, imagine it glowing with a light with all the colors in the rainbow in harmony and balance. Using that image to send love, healing, well-being to the planet, our home, to creatures and plants and ecosystems, to the whole biosphere. And as you continue to hold that in your mind, let a message come to you about something that you might do this springtime to manifest greater well-being for some part of the environment, for the planet as a whole. Planet Earth, be well, be well, be well. So be it. And now I invite Reverend Laura to release our circle.
Thank you, Selena, and thank you everybody for being here. Once again, I'm asking you to connect through cyberspace to the space of love, to that web of connection that connects us all at this time and this place, or at any time if you watch this video later. May we all align together in harmony with the universe, and as we breathe in and out, feel each other's company at this time and this space. And if you're able to face the directions, do so. Otherwise, just do it on your mind's eye. To the north, we say, element of earth, we thank you for your presence on our circle tonight. Stay if you like, live if you must. So be it. To the east, we say, element of air, we thank you for your presence on our circle tonight. Stay if you like, live if you must. So be it. To the south, we say, element of fire, we thank you for your presence on our circle tonight. Stay if you like, live if you must. So mote it be. And to the west, we thank you, water, for being in our circle tonight. Stay if you like, live if you must. So be it. To the cosmos, to the moon, to the sky, to the planets, to the stars, to the galaxies, we thank you for lending your energy to our circle tonight. Stay if you like, live if you must. So be it. To our planet Earth, our mother, Tonantzin our great mother, we thank you for your presence in our circle tonight. Stay if you like, live if you must. So be it. And to all of us who share our spirit as one, at this moment celebrating spring, celebrating the warm moon, and celebrating to being alive together. To the Great Spirit, we say thanks. Our circle is open, but never broken. Merry meet, merry part, and merry meet again. So be it. And
So
now
be-
I
Thank-
pass it back to Selena.
Thank you, Reverend Laura. And I invite everyone with a candle, as you hold your candle up, we consider ourselves taking some of the waxing light of springtime and the brightness of the full moon, whether it's physically visible for you right now or not. Let this guide our way as we go into this springtime, rejoicing in the spring energy. Renovate, rejuvenate, innovate, invigorate, renovate, rejuvenate, innovate, invigorate, renovate, rejuvenate, innovate, invigorate. May we be filled with lots of great energy for the springtime, and may we all find good ways to connect not only with other humans, but all the forms of life and nature here on our planet and beyond. Happy spring full moon. And now I invite Maren to share some thoughts about connecting with Circle.
Thank you for joining us for this Full Moon Circle broadcast, which has been brought to you by some of Circle Sanctuary's wonderful volunteers. Volunteers are a vital force in keeping Circle running, but we also need your donations for the upkeep of the sanctuary land, the green cemetery, and our buildings. We want to keep the lights on, the doors open, and the roof over our temple room and resource shop for all members of the worldwide Circle Sanctuary community. And you can help us to make that possible with your support. No donation is too small, and you can choose to make a one-time contribution or a once-a-month or once-a-year gift through the Circle Sanctuary website. You can also support Circle Sanctuary by becoming a member at whatever giving level is most comfortable for you. Your contributions help to support Circle's in-person and virtual festivals and rituals, as well as our informational website and a wide variety of weekly Circle Sanctuary Network podcasts. You can find those podcasts on Blog Talk Radio online when you search for CSNP Circle Sanctuary Network podcasts. We have close to 1,000 podcasts archived and available for you online, free for you to listen to at any time. Be sure to give a like to this video and hit the subscribe button so that you'll always be alerted to the new content created by Circle Sanctuary and to stay informed about all our pagan events. There is much more to see and do on the Circle Sanctuary YouTube channel. Check it out. Join us on Facebook, X, and Instagram, and like our pages and content there as well. For more information, please visit our website, circlesanctuary.org, and join the worldwide Circle Sanctuary community by becoming a member or by donating today. Each month, we welcome contributions to our full moon circles of invocations, chants, poetry, short stories, songs, and reflections for our monthly full moon circles. If you're interested in being a presenter, please email circle@circlesanctuary.org, that's O-R-G, and put Full Moon Circle in the subject line. And please join us again next month for Pentacle Power Full Moon Circle on Tuesday, April 23rd, right here on the Circle Sanctuary YouTube page. We wish you all a beautiful spring, which is starting to rise.